The Federal Reserve, or the Fed, is America's central bank. Think of it as the economy's main mechanic, quietly working behind the scenes to keep the financial engine running smoothly. Its influence stretches into every corner of American life, from the price of groceries to the interest you pay on your mortgage, and even the security of your job. The Fed's decisions shape the economic landscape, affecting not just Wall Street, but Main Street too. The Fed's most powerful tool is a single, massive lever: interest rates. By raising or lowering this lever, the Fed can either slow down or speed up the entire economy. It's a delicate balancing act, requiring constant vigilance and precise timing. When inflation rises and prices start to spiral, the Fed hikes rates to cool things down, making borrowing more expensive and encouraging saving. This helps to rein in runaway prices, but it can also slow economic growth if not handled carefully. On the flip side, when the economy falters, when businesses close, jobs are lost and growth stalls, the Fed cuts rates to spur activity. Lower rates make it cheaper to borrow, encouraging businesses to invest and consumers to spend, breathing life back into the economy. At the helm of this powerful institution is Jerome Powell, the current Fed chair. Powell's decisions don't just move markets, they ripple through global economies, impact the value of the dollar, and ultimately touch the daily lives of millions of Americans. His every word is scrutinized by investors, politicians, and ordinary citizens alike. The Fed's power is so immense that it's designed to be independent. Its credibility depends on making decisions based on data, not politics. This independence is meant to shield the economy from the shifting winds of political pressure, ensuring that long-term stability isn't sacrificed for short-term gain. But on January 13, 2026, that independence faces its greatest test yet. The Department of Justice under President Trump launches a criminal investigation into Powell, sending shockwaves through the financial world and raising fears about the future of the Fed's autonomy. This isn't just political theater, it's the executive branch directly threatening the person in charge of U.S. monetary policy. The stakes couldn't be higher, as the very foundation of the Fed's independence is called into question. The crisis pits the White House against the central bank, raising urgent questions about who the Fed truly serves: the long-term health of the economy, or the short-term interests of a president. The outcome could redefine the balance of power in Washington for years to come. Powell, a seasoned establishment figure with decades of experience, now finds himself at the center of a storm no Fed chair has faced before. His leadership, judgment, and resolve will be tested like never before, as the world watches to see how he responds. The outcome of this battle will ripple through every American's financial life, affecting everything from job security to retirement savings and the cost of living for families across the nation. This isn't just a DC drama, it's a battle for the soul of the U.S. economy, with consequences that will be felt for generations. Everyone, whether you're a student, a worker, a retiree, or a business owner, needs to understand what's at stake, because the decisions made now will shape the future for all of us. The DOJ's investigation targets a $2.5 billion renovation of the Fed's DC buildings, alleging Powell misled Congress about ballooning costs. The probe, triggered by a Republican referral, hinges on whether Powell's testimony about the project was fully accurate. Critics call this a flimsy pretext. Cost overruns are routine in DC construction, and few believe this is really about a building. Instead, many see it as political intimidation, timed just months before Powell's term ends. By casting a cloud over Powell, the administration sets the stage to replace him with someone more compliant, the real battle control over the Fed's future. The Trump administration frames the probe as a necessary act of accountability, insisting that the American people deserve answers about the Federal Reserve's recent decisions. They claim the investigation is about transparency and protecting the economy, but critics argue it's a thinly veiled attempt to exert political control over the nation's central bank. According to the administration, Powell mismanaged billions of dollars and hurt the economy with his insistence on keeping interest rates high. They point to market volatility and sluggish growth as evidence, arguing that the Fed's policies have stifled investment and job creation at a critical time. Trump's public attacks on Powell are relentless and highly visible. At rallies, on social media, and in interviews, he blames Powell for rising inflation and slow economic growth. The costly renovation of the Federal Reserve's headquarters becomes a symbol in Trump's narrative. Proof, he says, of Powell's mismanagement and misplaced priorities. But Powell doesn't back down. He fires back, calling the investigation an unprecedented act of political intimidation. Retaliation, he says, for his refusal to cut rates on command. Powell warns that such pressure threatens the very foundation of the central bank's independence. He insists the Fed must act on data, not presidential pressure, and vows to defend its independence at all costs. Powell argues that monetary policy decisions should be based on careful analysis, not short-term political interests or the whims of any administration. Supporters rally to Powell's side. Former Fed Chair Janet Yellen and other central bank veterans call the probe chilling and baseless, warning that it could set a dangerous precedent for future administrations. They see it as a dangerous abuse of power, designed to force Powell out and bend the Fed to the president's will. Critics warn that undermining the Fed's independence could destabilize financial markets and erode global confidence in the U.S. economy. For Powell, this fight is about more than his own job. It's about protecting the principle that monetary policy must remain free from political threats. He stands as a symbol of resistance, determined to uphold the Fed's integrity for future generations. The stakes are enormous. The very soul of the central bank is on the line. As the world watches, the outcome will shape not just America's economy, but the global financial system for years to come. The DOJ's move sparks a rare bipartisan backlash. Republican Senator Thom Tillis vows to block Trump's Fed nominees until the probe ends, while Senators Murkowski and Kramer denounce the investigation as coercion. Democrats, led by Schumer and Warren, call it a brazen abuse of power and a threat to democracy. The outcry unites lawmakers across the aisle, isolating the White House and underscoring the gravity of the attack on Fed independence. This isn't just partisan bickering, it's a defense of the economic system itself. The message: the Fed's independence is a red line. The fight now pits Congress against the White House. This crisis is the climax of a years-long feud between Trump and Powell. Trump, who loves low rates, saw Powell's rate hikes as betrayal and broke precedent by publicly attacking his own Fed chair, calling him clueless and Mr. Too Late. Despite pressure, Powell mostly held firm, insisting on data-driven decisions. Even after the Fed cut rates 3 times in 2025, Trump wanted more and began targeting the Fed's building project as a new line of attack. The DOJ probe is the latest escalation in a campaign to bring the Fed to heel. This isn't an isolated event, it's the result of years of threats and public pressure. The groundwork for this showdown was laid long before any subpoenas. The independence of the Fed has never been under greater threat. Markets run on confidence, and the Fed's crisis has shattered it. In the world of finance, trust is everything. When that trust is broken, even for a moment, the ripple effects can be felt across the globe. Investors, always on the lookout for signs of instability, react swiftly when uncertainty takes hold. News of the probe, combined with mounting global tensions, sent gold prices skyrocketing to a record $4,724 an ounce. Investors rushed to the safety of gold, abandoning riskier assets as fear gripped the markets. The precious metal, long seen as a safe haven in turbulent times, became the asset of choice almost overnight. Silver soared too, echoing the deep unease about U.S. stability. The surge in both metals is a clear signal that faith in traditional financial instruments is eroding, and that investors are bracing for more volatility ahead. The surge in gold is more than just a price movement. It's a vote of no confidence in America's financial system. Investors are increasingly worried about political interference at the Fed, and what that means for the future of the U.S. economy. Stock markets wobbled with wild swings and mounting losses. Analysts now warn of a "sell America" trade. Foreign investors dumping U.S. assets, driving up borrowing costs, and threatening the broader economy. The fear is that this could trigger a vicious cycle of outflows and instability. The market's verdict is clear. Undermining the Fed is dangerous. The message from investors is unmistakable. Confidence in America's institutions cannot be taken for granted. The soaring price of gold is a warning sign for policymakers, a flashing red light that demands urgent attention. If trust isn't restored, the consequences could be severe and long-lasting. The world is watching and losing faith. Global markets are reacting, and the reputation of the U.S. as a financial safe haven is at stake. The Fed's independence isn't just a political issue, it's the very foundation of America's economic credibility. Without it, the entire system is at risk. Undermine it, and the consequences are global. The world's eyes are on America, waiting to see if confidence can be restored before lasting damage is done. The Fed's independence isn't an accident, it's a safeguard against short-term political meddling. Politicians want quick fixes before elections, but the Fed's job is to make tough, sometimes unpopular calls to keep the economy stable. Its credibility makes the dollar the world's reserve currency and U.S. bonds the safest investment. If the Fed becomes a tool of the president, that credibility collapses. The current probe threatens to erase the line between politics and monetary policy. Future Fed chairs could be forced to prioritize loyalty over sound economics. That's why this fight is so critical. It's about protecting the rules that keep America's economy strong. Cross this line, and the damage could last for generations. Powell's future is uncertain, his term as chair ends soon, and Trump is poised to name a loyalist successor, but Powell could stay on the Fed board, blocking a full takeover. The investigation will grind on, but bipartisan resistance in Congress could stall Trump's plans. The Supreme Court is set to weigh in on related Fed disputes, adding more uncertainty. The stakes: the future of Fed independence, America's economic stability, and the world's faith in U.S. democracy. The coming weeks will decide whether the Fed remains a bulwark against political pressure, or becomes just another arm of the White House. The outcome will shape America's future for years to come.